I have to put up with a lot. I have to contend with a lot in life. But it's just very hard for me to account for things other than stupidity. I mean, I don't believe in evil. And it's like, there's no queen in a tower out there. The essence of all evil, emanating evil and spiky things and monkeys flying from trees and stuff. Disney kind of made that idea, and you all watch out when you're kids, but I don't believe in evil. It's just an excuse for stupid people to be retarded and horrible, stupid people. I don't believe in evil. Evil is like a taste of things to. It could be a bad taste, a taste of things to come, but it's a taste. You've got a bit of knowledge in the Garden of Eden regarding something you were told. Blah 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 blah. Knowledge. That's what they call it. The devil was a taste of things to come, a taste of knowledge. Before you had the knowledge, because you had the free. Anyway, it's very essential and very genius. But so the devil or evil does refer to. Well, evil is vinegar, a type of vinegar, really. And devil is a spoonful of vinegar. I have to deal with but anyway, so many horrible, stupid people in the world. None of them are Jewish. So let's say that. They have names like Van der Berg, Goldstein, Rothheim, Rosenberg, but they're not Jewish. I remember American fucking gimps that died by this word, but anyway, I have to account for monsters. They're not. That was just a bad joke. Sorry. But I have to account for a lot of these idiots and gypsies, and I can somewhat account for it. It's kind of humorous. I might tell you the whole story. So where did genealogy, stupidity, basically, where does it come from? You know what I mean? There's a lot of smart people in the world. There's a lot of smart commentary on Bible, and there's a lot of smart commentary on lots of things. And it's like, where does the stupidity really come from? And it's like, where the hell could this sadism and this terror and this horrible stuff that they do, other than the spirit of sodomy? He's saying the spirit of sodomy is basically is a scientific inquiry where there's no sufficient scientific means. So you don't have telescopes or atomistic knowledge or stuff or molecular knowledge. You're groping into reality in the meantime. And they were doing weird stuff, you know what I mean? They were putting like the sperm of a duck into a horse to see could they make a winged horse. And that's the kind of spirit of sodomy. It's scientific, really, when there's no scientific means. So that's explicitly what it is. Like science, basically, is bad. So any science really is sodomistic. But why did I get on the sodomy? Why are they so messed up? Yeah, okay, so there's that groping kind of thing, groping reality, and doing terrible things, like what happens if we tie a lady's legs together, these terrible, horrible things, that you hear about, the essences of sodomy, but they're really convicted, and they're like, there's a compound of things that they believe, and I've tried to address this in videos objectively, but they believe in it's terrible poetry, this fairy, or even Satan is only an appearance of a poetical device again. In ancient books from time with no lordship, trying to use it to explain and account for what was going on in society, and they had poetical device to do that. It's very ancient. Yeah, it's in spite of Christ. It's in spite of all sainthood, really. But where do they come from? Anyway, these fucking gypsies, these retarded stupid people. And I thought about it because there's so many clever people in the world, really are there? Because there's so many fucking clever people in the world who really know the deal. And that's the only reason I can root their, their science, their creed, their ethos, their American bullshit, really, or French, or anybody, Dutch, Swiss. I just don't get it, white people. But anyway, so you hate me, I hate you, whichever. Okay, one of us wins, and one of us left loads of kids on the face of the earth, and I really fucking hate you. You sodomized my mother, you sodomized my friends, my family, my lovers, everybody I fucking want what you said. And now I'm left around and I've got your kids. And what am I going to do with it? I'm not a sadist, I don't want to hurt the little fuckers, it's a bit too easy. Well, what'll I do? I'll raise the little fucking gypsies my way. And I know the way because I'm really clever. And I know my Torah, and I know my script. And I know exactly what to teach these little fuckers to be as shitty, as terrible as possible. And there is an effect of being as shitty, as terrible as possible. That is some sort of a sodomy. Being shitty, as terrible as possible has an effect, and you can teach that. But why is there so many of them? That's my question. How did it get so influential when it's a bad teaching? So people wanted to raise people stupid. Basically what I'm saying is some clever people got vengeance at one point. I'm not happy with them. And they got vengeance. They raised their kids obnoxious, brutal, horrible, and particularly interesting Satan worshipping, because Satan's like the harshest tester and teacher kind of thing, when there was no kind of mediation of saints and lordship and people who appreciated mankind, who could understand and translate things back. It was a really harsh, old and primordial tester and teacher. It's terrible to enforce yourself or force that on anybody, and you weren't asked to. You were never called to or asked to. Explicit secretary of the Most High kind of thing. But anyway, so so they were raised horribly and retarded and stupid to be as obnoxious and sadistic and slothly. And this is where Miley Cyrus comes from, basically, actually. So it was really funny. But they've actually bred this poison and this file, and they left it loose on the earth because they don't really care about Malkuth, because they would have been smart, believe me. And but they still left these poisonous, horrible kids, just generations of rats. And these are monstrous, murderous, sadistic, brutal rats that do things for amusement. They will... Okay, my wife, well, there's a alleged or early life, she got bet the shit around and kicked her head. They punched her head in. Her friends, boyfriends in her world, rich kids, rich boys, assholes, and they put her in a tank full of jellyfish while still alive, and yet they thought it was awesome. Awesome, bro. They do the shittest and weirdest things, the funniest games, kind of things, asshole, retarded games. And even in funny games, like, you never depreciate the value of entertainment. I'd tell you that if I was Crowley and I wanted to fuck you up. I'd tell you something really fucking clever. It's really, because entertain, something Satanistic and something really fucking clever. But anyway, all these kids got a world-class education and being stupid and being self-condemning and destroying themselves, and all the time praying to Satan. Was the hardest scrutinous tested and teacher. The most primordial tester and teacher, really, or essential tester and teacher. And they don't know why is this compound existing in them, that they're retarded, monstrous, brutal, sadistic, power, and they're just, it's all about transitory and angel training, basically, you know what I mean? You're not going to get ahead by getting, but anyway, there was mercy for Ahab, so what, do you want to know this? It's mercy bit here. I'm going to give you some mercy for Jezebel. Miley Cyrus, since the second day of her life, was she was nicknamed on day 2 of her life as the gummy bear, because she was, as a 2-year-old baby, was bouncing off somebody's dick. So I'm saying they were bred for torture. They were bred for profanity and to disgrace and destroy them, and they gave them everything they want, obnoxious, spoiled, kind of, but they bred them to be pieces of shit, basically, and they're everywhere, you know what I mean? That poster is Miley Cyrus in particular. But they was bred for vengeance, they're bred and they're kept and they're given anything they want because they're just more spoiled, it's more worse. But so there was mercy for Ahab because he didn't understand, but and there's not mercy for Jezebel, really, Miley Cyrus, because and just saying, like, that kid or that thing, that dumb monster, that fucking foulest thing that lived, was raised into it. Was raised. She had no chance for her. It had no chance. Bradley, and her dad was a funny story about it all. If you really want to know, her dad was they're also saying Billy Ray Cyrus, a child star, child prodigy, was brewed for the exact same thing, like male stupidity and retarded, being a gimp prostitute, and his mother told him. His mother, who was worked in the military, and was her mother was Luftwaffe, and and that lady was something like Adolf Hitler's girlfriend or something like that. Yeah, Miley Cyrus is distantly connected to Adolf Hitler. But anyway, like I said, bred for torture, bred for mockery, bred for self-condemning, and bred for this. And Billy's mad. Don't break my heart, Billy Ray. You just don't understand what they want. And they made him sing that song. Don't break my heart. And he fucking did it. Put on the fucking dress and sing it. So yeah, he's a gimp. Child prodigy. Was raised for mockery. But anyway, this is a genealogy of stupidity and monstrousness. And if you want to know why you'd want to be so vengeful and horrible people, there's a lot of horrible traitorish kind of crappy Jews. Excuse me to be so explicit or assuming about World War II. But there's a lot of very wealthy, and there's a lot of very monstrous everybody. And it's really funny. You know, Miley Cyrus's new song, there's things like mother's daughter. They're specifying the fact that they realise, because I told them this, I already burnt them over this. Oh no, you're your mother's daughter. You're your mother's daughter for sure, because her dad was Jewish. Or something like that, he's a traitor Jew. So they're all traitor Jews and Nazi sadists, tricked into fucking each other for generations. Like I said, they've grown and bred for generations as mockery. So there's loads of this all over America, probably, you know what I mean? Traitor, horrible gypsy Jews that ran death camps, and stupid, horrible, retarded sadists, Nazis or whatever they were. And they're all tricked into fucking each other. Seems they loved each other so much because they all conspired together in some way. And they bred their children for destruction. Fucking hilarious, isn't it? And you know, what's funny is you're 50 years old, like everybody's 50 years old. But I reckon, like, you know, these secrets died with men, died with the assholes that did it. And they just left them there on the world, you know, left them being sodomites, because, you know, they didn't really clean up the mess, did they? And then they just died and didn't tell anyone. And they're all just, like, living and reigning now over Malkuth, a sodomite, parasite, fucking monsters, gypsies. Because there's some sort of vengeful self-destruction method, but yeah, I don't know. I was just trying to account for all the monsters and stupidity and pig-headedness, dumb, and, you know, these ideas in life. And Malkuth. It's very simple. You know, one of the earliest things was you might believe in anonymity, the illusion of anonymity. It's an illusion, anonymity, separation, or multiplicity, and all sin derives and manifests from that. If you watch my On Sin, requested by Lana Del Rey, you watch any of my fucking videos, you know something. You know, get fucking back to school, and that's where it comes from. It's funny, isn't it? I think I'm funny. Fucking